Greetings and salutations, Greek students. In our last video, we talked about the subjunctive mood, the mood of possibility. We looked at the forms of the subjunctive and how Greek verbs work. In this video, what I'm going to do is show specific examples of how to translate the various functions of the subjunctive, how they work, and then a few examples of how to translate them. So let's get right into it. The functions of the subjunctive. There are independent functions of the subjunctive. So this is examples where you see the subjunctive in its own clause. The first is the hortatory subjunctive. These subjunctives are going to be first person plural, used as an exhortation to action. So let us. So for example, in Mark 4:35, dielthamen eis ta peron. Let us go to the other side. And notably, and this is one of the aorist subjunctives where it has that omen ending, it's from erkomai, and in that second aorist has become, it's actually from d erkomai, has become d elthon, and that d elth stem is that second aorist, and then it has that omen ending, so it's the subjunctive, it's an aorist subjunctive, but it's got that present active subjunctive ending as its suffix because it's in the second aorist. So in the first person, let us go. In 1 Corinthians 15:32, e necroi uk e gerontai, if the dead are not raised. So this is the premise, and noticeably the e gerontai is in the indicative. So the premise of this possibility is being set. So if the dead are not raised, that's the statement about reality. Then the subjunctive, the mood of possibility, phagomen kai piomen, let us eat and let us drink. Why? Gar arion apathaneskomen, for tomorrow we die. And so the hortatory subjunctive, let's just eat and drink because we're going to die anyway. Genesis 1:26, another good example. Kai epin hatheos, God said, poiesomen, let us make anthropon kat ekona he meteran. Let us make man according to our image. So this is the hortatory subjunctive, let us. The hortatory subjunctive, the sign of it is you're going to see that first person plural subjunctive. It could be in the aorist, it could be in the present, but it's going to be that first person plural. So it's kind of a dead giveaway. If you see that first person plural subjunctive, you should be thinking, first person plural subjunctive, probably hortatory, let us. Prohibitive. The aorist subjunctive is used to prohibit an action, taking the main negation, do not. So Matthew 6:31, me un merne sete legantes, do not worry, saying. Now think about that. Worry, merimnao, is talking about something that you do in the future. And so the prohibition not to do this is something that is in the future, right? It's a possibility. So do not worry. Me phobethes, para labain, marian te gunaikasu. Do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife. So this is the exhortation that the angel gives to Joseph when he discovers that she is pregnant. And the angel says, hey, listen, do not fear, do not be afraid to take Mary as your wife, because the child that she has is not because she's been sleeping around. It's because the Holy Spirit is at work. An example here, practice and review, sentence number 4. Mekete un aleleos krenomen, hate gar krenomen, tus adelphus kai tas adelphas hemon, u plerumen ta tu pneumatas thelema. So the mekete is no longer. Therefore, let us no longer judge one another. Or sorry, this is a negation, and it's a negation as well as a hortatory negation. Let us not, do not judge one another. Why? For hate, when we judge tus adelphus, the brothers and our sisters, tus adelphus kai tas adelphas hemon, we do not fulfill the will of the Spirit. And so this is an example where you have the neuter ta thelema, the will, and the genitive is framed by the noun that it's modifying. And you see that happening quite a bit in Greek. So I'm sort of introducing you to that now, but you're going to see that in Greek sentences, particularly New Testament Greek sentences. So we've got the hortatory subjunctive, we've got the negation subjunctive. How about the deliberative? This is the subjunctive used to indicate a question of deliberation. Shall I do this? So ti phagomen, e ti piomen, e ti paralabometha. This is in Matthew 6:31 when Jesus is talking about not worrying, not merimenao. Do not say, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we paralabometha, parabalamata, what shall we put around, what shall we wear? And he's, of course, saying, don't do this, don't ask this. You don't need to, because your Father in heaven will take care of these needs. He points to the birds of the sky and the lilies of the field. Romans 6:1, we've already talked about this example. Epimenomen te hamartia, shall we remain in sin? Shall we? Is this something that we should do? This is a deliberation. It's a question. Practice and review, sentence number 5. Pos zeisomen en to cosmo tuto, ha pos ha laas ide tafas tu evangeliu. How shall we live? How, pos, shall we live? And notice the zeisomen, you might think of that as a future, but that lengthened omega tells you, oh, I'm in the subjunctive, that lengthened omega. How shall we live, asking the question, in the world, this one, when hapos, the people see the light of the gospel. So how shall we live when the people see the light of the gospel? Emphatic negation, the double negation of ume with the aorist subjunctive, is to emphatically deny. By no means. So John 11:26, pas hazon kai pistuon, everyone living and believing eis eme, in me, ume apathane, by no means will perish, right? Everyone living and believing in me, trusting in me. So this is a recognition that by no means will they die. Hoi lagoi mu, ume para elthosin. This is Jesus in Matthew 24, the Olivet Discourse. My words by no means shall pass. And again, it's even though we're in the aorist, that subjunctive means we're talking about the possibility. So the question, shall the words pass? No, by no means. The question in John 11:26, which isn't a question, but it's a negation. It's emphatically denying this possibility. By no means will those who live and believe in me die. Practice and review, sentence example number 11. Ume palin agor asosin artan en taute te come pantes hoi gar fagantes auton uk eti zosin. By no means buy bread again in this village, for all those eating it no longer live. So the emphatic negation is don't buy bread in this village. Don't do it. No way. Why? The explanation is because those who eat it, that is the bread from this village, they don't live. They don't keep breathing. So something in the bread is bad. So those are independent examples of the subjunctive. We have the emphatic negation as one use of the independent use of the subjunctive. We have the deliberation, the raising of a question. You see this a lot in Paul's letters when he's in this mode of diatribe, of dialogue. We see the prohibition, the do not, which is a less emphatic way of the emphatic negation. And of course, we have the hortatory subjunctive, the let us subjunctives. Now let's look at the examples of the subordinate clause functions. These are more common uses of the subjunctive. So when you see subjunctives, mostly they're going to be in these subordinate clauses. One of the most common uses of the subjunctive is the purpose clause, indicating the purpose of the action of the main verb. The form of the purpose clause will typically be in order that. And so when you see the hina plus a subjunctive, this is, by the way, the most common use of subjunctive in the New Testament, it's giving the purpose. So in John 1:7, hutas elthein eis marturion, hina marture se peri tu photos, hina pantes pistusosen di autu. This one came for testimony. This is talking about John the Baptist, in order that he might testify peri tu photos about the light, in order that all might believe through him. And so John's purpose, the reason for his testimony, is to testify about the light, so that for the purpose of everyone believing through his testimony. Acts 16:30. This is asking the question, what to me is necessary to do in order that I might be saved? This is when the Philippian jailer discovers that the chains have all fallen off his prisoners and he's ready to kill himself. And Paul says, no, don't kill yourself. We're here. We haven't run away. And so he's like, oh, well, clearly you've got something I need. What do I need to do to be saved? 1 John 2:1, tauta grapho humin hina me hamartete. These things I write to you. Why do I write these things to you? In order that you might not sin. So the purpose can be a negative purpose, right? The purpose in this instance is that the reader, the result of the writing would be not to sin. Practice and review sentence number 2, synagogamen ta laon es ta heron hina diaton graphon para kleithomen. So we have here a hortatory subjunctive, so we can combine these different kinds of subjunctives. Let us gather ta laon, the people, es ta heron, into the temple, hina. Why? In order that we might be exhorted, because this is the parakleithomen, that we might be exhorted through the writings, that we might be exhorted, parakleithomen, in the aorist passive from parakaleo. The hupos subjunctive, hupos me, so again, the purpose subjunctive, so this can be in order that. Indefinite clauses. These are clauses introduced by relative pronoun. So has on plus on. Whoever. So Mark 3:29. Has da on blasphe mese. Es ta pneuma tahagion. Uk eke aphasin es ton iona. Whoever blasphemes against the Spirit, the Holy One, against the Holy Spirit, uk eke aphasin, does not have forgiveness into the age, or forever. So in this instance, the blasphemese is, again, it's possibility. It's whoever might blaspheme. So it's not saying whoever is currently blaspheming. It's saying whoever might. Future, this is sort of a blanket clause for whoever might do this. Similarly, in John 4:14, has da'on pie ek tu hudatas, hu ego doso auto ume dipsese es ton iona. Whoever might drink from the water which I give to him, by no means will he thirst forever, in John 4:14. So the has on pie is, this is Jesus talking to the Samaritan woman, whoever drinks from this water that I have, that I give to him, he will by no means, emphatic negation, the ume, thirst into the age. Galatians 5:10, ha tarason, there the present active participle from tarasso, the one troubling you, bastase, carries, takrima, bears judgment, hostis eon a, whoever that might be. So this is an interesting example of whoever it might be that is doing this that person, that troublemaker, bears judgment. So these are all examples of the use of the indefinite clauses to indicate either examples of like blanket statements, whoever might do this, as the sort of general category of the blasphemer against the Holy Spirit, the one who might drink the water of life, and in this case, the unknown opponent of Paul in Galatians, who is stirring up the Galatians and is bearing judgment. Conditional clauses. These are identified with the particle aeon plus the subjunctive. A conditional clause gets the contingency of the subjunctive if then. So two types of conditional clauses. You don't have to worry too much about this, but it's helpful grammatically to know what's going on. Protasis is the hypothetical. It's the if clause, grammatically dependent. The apodosis is the then clause, which is grammatically independent. So these two types of conditional sentences, you can have a real condition for the simple fact of the clause. The protasis occurs in the indicative mood, negated by u, or a potential, right? So a real condition is, if the sun rises tomorrow, I'm going to get up and go to my son's basketball game. So it's a real condition. The sun is going to rise tomorrow. And so that's a real condition. So I would put the verb rise in the indicative mood. But if I was going to say, if I win the lottery tomorrow, I'm going to go buy a boat. The if I win the lottery is a potential. It's not gonna happen. It's a possibility, but it's not a real condition. It's a potential, unreal, but possible condition for the contingent possibility. So in that instance, the protasis is going to be in the subjunctive. The if I win, the win verb is going to be in the subjunctive because it's very possible that I don't win. And then the negation is going to be with may, right? So, or if I would say, if I don't win the lottery, both of those would be in the subjunctive. So, there are common types of conditional sentences. Don't worry too much about this for right now. Croy has a good discussion of it, but for the most part, I want you to be able to recognize those functions of the subjunctive, the independent, the hortatory subjunctive, the let us, the deliberative subjunctive, shall we, the what are our other forms of the subjunctive? Deliberative, hortatory, prohibitive, emphatic negation, and then the subordinate clauses, the purpose clause, which is very common, the indefinite clauses, the conditional clauses here. Don't get too worried about the grammar. This will be helpful exegetically, but for now, just know that that's the mood of possibility. And of course, we have our present subjunctive of a me, o, ace, a, omen, ete, osi. This is I might be, you might be, he, she, it might be. This is again the mood of possibility that we've been talking about with the subjunctive. So this has been a fairly lengthy introduction to the subjunctive and how it actually gets used in sentences, both from the New Testament and example grammar sentences.